This video is sponsored by Otherworld Computing. It was 9 years ago that my long-struggling HP laptop crashed for the final time, and it would turn out to be the last PC I ever owned. See, after a lifetime spent on Windows, I made the jump to the MacBook Air, and I couldn't have loved it more. It wasn't just that it was 10 pounds lighter than my previous machine, it was also more powerful to boot. I built a YouTube channel entirely on the back of a MacBook Air in iMovie, and later used a newer MacBook Air to help grow another YouTube channel, this time in Final Cut Pro. Apple machines let me do more of the work I loved, and when I graduated to a MacBook Pro in 2015, all the added utility made up for the loss of portability. Sadly, when Apple redesigned the MacBook Pro in 2016 to trim some of the pounds it had picked up, it also ended up building a worse computer. Over the past year and a half, I've owned 2 versions of this expensive misfire, and if I didn't still depend on Final Cut Pro every day, I'd have moved on a long time ago. Folks, I am not here to beat a dead horse, so I will save you further lamentations on the loss of the MagSafe cable, the neutering of the SD card slot, and USB-A ports. Look, if you're a professional that requires these connections for your equipment, you will just need to make peace with the fact that after dropping between $1,300 and $6,700 on a new notebook, you need to shell out more for accessories to give it the ports it should have had in the first place. I'm also not here to put the MacBook back into the freezer to lambaste it for the thermal throttling problems revealed by Dave2D and others. Apple fixed that bug with a patch in something like a week, a commendable turnaround time for such a major flaw. Indeed, my 2018 model with the Core i9 processor is a beast. These MrMobile videos coming to you at 4K and 60 FPS, they're all built on this machine, and it chews through them no problem. But let's talk about why I had to buy the 2018 model. You've probably heard of the dreaded keyboard defect plaguing MacBooks since 2016. Yep, it happened to my 17 model. 2 keys started dying at about the same time my speakers stopped working, so I needed a replacement right away. Trouble is, at the time, Apple was still sending custom MacBooks like mine off-site for repair or replacement, which would have left me without a computer for an extended period of travel I was about to go on. So I had no choice. Rather than lose that time, I bought the 2018 version of the laptop while Apple sent the old one off to be fixed. And that leads directly to problem number 2. Apple used to be the absolute best at backing up. You copied your old system image into Time Machine, you plugged your new one in, and in a few hours your new computer would wake up with the soul of your old one. Just as easy as reincarnating a Vulcan with his Katra. Well, that didn't happen this time. Instead, my MacBook sat there with 3 minutes left on the restore for 24 hours. And if you take a look at the replies to this tweet, you'll see that several other folks, including friend of the channel Quinn Nelson, have run into similar issues. I eventually, again, couldn't waste any more time on this. I had to take both computers into an Apple store to let a genius deal with it. More on that at the end of the video, but the saga isn't over. My 2018 model, with the newly redesigned keyboard meant to cure that defect, right out of the box, it started giving me double-type errors on the T key, quickly followed by the H. And this is no fluke, folks. Look no further than the Wall Street Journal, the Outline, and Laptop Mag to find similar stories. Oh, hey! Look, it just happened, you see? Anyway, after everyone from iFixit to John Gruber agreed that this was just an objectively bad keyboard, Apple finally apologized for the defect and gave customers more repair options. But after all the time I lost with the last one, I'm just gonna deal with it. Same goes for my final complaint. Look, there are times I enjoy the touch bar, adjusting brightness and volume with a slider, scrubbing through a video timeline, and, emojis. But is any of that worth the constant mispresses on the Siri key to the point where I've had to disable it? Not to me. And even if you can train yourself out of those mistypes, expect about once a month to see the touch bar freeze for no reason. 2 years after the touch bar debuted, it's amazing to me that this was still happening as of a month ago. Now, a reminder about me and Apple. my primary tablet is an iPad, which I use every day and really enjoy. I consider the Apple Watch to be the best smartwatch you can buy, and while I don't carry an iPhone personally, I really do admire how polished and consistent its software is. More importantly, Apple's customer service is unmatched. The Genius Bar experiences I've had at the Apple Store have been uniformly outstanding. And again, I'm still willing to put up with all the foibles of this computer in exchange for the privilege of using Final Cut Pro to build my videos. I just love that program. So when I come down hard on this machine, it's not because I have an axe to grind with Apple. It's because I need my MacBook Pro to be the excellent, dependable tool for professionals that it once was. As a customer, I want to depend on this like I used to. As a reviewer, I want to recommend it like I used to. And after 18 months of using this new design, I just can't. Not like before. Now, if you're wondering about all the good MacBook Pro stuff I seem to skip over, well, I saved that for a special guest. Stick around through the sponsor message, which also might help those of you who feel like me. Folks, if you're still using an older MacBook Pro or Air and you need more storage but don't want to make the jump to the newer MacBooks, today's sponsor would like a word. This is the new Aura Pro X2 from Otherworld Computing. It's a solid-state drive with up to 16 times the storage of your old hard drive. It can boost the speed of your 4-year-old Pro or Air to make it feel like one of the latest Macs, and it runs cooler than earlier models too. It's designed in Austin, Texas, and backed by free, award-winning support, including step-by-step videos to make installation safe and easy. Best of all, it's a lot cheaper than buying a whole new machine. Check out the link in the description below, and thanks to Otherworld Computing for sponsoring this video.
Hey, I'm Rene Ritchie, and this is a real honor. When I first reviewed the new MacBook Pro back at the end of 2016, I called it the love-hate future of laptops. Love because they finally had a new design, terrific wide gamut displays, Touch ID, and super fast, super forward-thinking USB-C Thunderbolt 3 ports. Hate because unlike the previous version with its function row and scissor switch keyboard, the new touch bar and butterfly and dome keyboard proved to be incredibly divisive. It was a new MacBook Pro though, meant for a new generation of pros, one where developers, designers, artists, and yeah, even founders had come to vastly outnumber those who traditionally self-identified as pros, and who valued more than just speeds and feeds, including a much better blend of portability and power. Since then, we've had more good, but also more bad. There have been issues with the batteries and displays, and of course the keyboards, those keyboards. But we've also gotten those high-end options now, including up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, 4 terabytes of storage, a custom T2 security and controller chip, Intel Core i9 main processor, and Vega Pro graphics. I'm not using that maxed out model myself, but I'm using one pretty close to it, and it's absolutely the best MacBook Pro I've ever used, even if it's still the most flawed. That's why I switched back to the Pro from the Air in 2016, and why, since then, I haven't looked back. But it's also why I'm very much looking forward to the rumored next generation Pro, all 16 inches of it, especially if it's once again a MacBook Pro that really appeals to just about every pro, including and especially you and everyone on your channel, MrMobile. Thank you so much for having me on.
Rene, the thanks are mine to give. Appreciate your time. Folks, be sure to check out Rene Ritchie at his channel Vector and subscribe both there and at the MrMobile. And let me know your thoughts on the MacBooks Pro through the ages, from the glory days of yesteryear to the promise of the rumored 16-incher coming somewhere down the pike. Drop a comment below. Until next time, thanks for watching. And stay mobile, my friends.